So we were talking about some of the operators. These operators help us while writing the code for some of the tasks they will help us. In that case, there was in and not in operator. That is called membership. So we were talking about this arithmetic operators, assignment operators, and identity operators. And we saw that there is a word is. Is was used for identity operations. And what happens here, when you make a variable, they share sometime the common memory. And we were trying to verify that which of the variables share common memory, we were trying to see. And when it does not happen, we were trying to see that. Now, in that case, we'll understand those concepts more. Now, there are some membership operators. What this membership operator actually does is, sometimes you will be making a data which will have multiple values together. So one of the data is this called a list. Inside a list, you have some values like 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. We are going to make a data like this in the future sessions. Now, what happens in such a data, you can see here, I told you that there is a data, there is a variable in which you can have one values. You can make num is equal to 10, or you can make first name is equal to some name. One values you can put. But there are some advanced data types in Python in which you can put the combination of multiple data. This is one of that advanced data type, and it is called a list in Python. Those of you who know arrays, this is just an very similar type of data as compared to arrays. Now, what happens in here? You might make a list which might have 100, 200, 500 values will be available there. What you need to do now, you need to check whether some value is present in the bigger data or not. How do you do that? You have 10 and we check in list. Correct? A list is there in which you will have multiple values. Now you want to check whether something is a part of bigger list or not. You want to check that. So how can you check? Using this word in. So in is one of the reserved keywords that will do the task of finding the membership. Is 10 a membership of this data or not? Well, so what will it give? It gives you the value in true or false. So if 10 is present inside this list, it will tell you true. Second thing is you can check 10 not in list, just the opposite of this. Opposite. So what are you saying? 10 is not present in list, but it is present. So what it will give you? False. Now, if you want to check here, let's say instead of 10, you check 70. So 70 is not present in this list. So then it will say true. Like this, you can check if something is present in the data or not, and you can modify the things accordingly. That is the membership operator. And this was the last operator. There is one more bitwise operator left that we will be talking about when we study conditional statement, the if-else conditional statement. When we study that, we'll talk about the last operators there. So these were the very basics of Python with the programming fundamentals. Now, from today, we'll be starting about some specific things that are there in Python. That first specific thing is called a string. Now, there are some advanced data types. One of that is string. String is nothing but a text data. Multiple times when you're making the project, you will need to use the text data, a small text value or a big paragraph, but that will be a text. So those texts in Python are called strings. And we'll discuss multiple of these characteristics of the strings. What we can do with that, what type of data we can create with those strings, we'll see today. After that, there are some other advanced data types, which will be a list, which will be a tuple, which will be a set, and a dictionary. These are the things that will be there: list, tuple, set, and dictionary. And we'll study about these data types one by one. What is the task of theirs and what they help us do. So today we'll be starting with this, and in the further sessions, we'll understand one of these things one by one. And once we have finished few of the topics, I'll try to give you some assignments which will help you practice the concepts that we are covering in these sessions. So for till the time I'm giving you the assignments, you try to follow the sessions that will be given to you. And all these code files, I'll try to share after the session, these code files also, right? So wait, after the session, I'll share this with you so that you can practice all the concepts. Now, see, we have the strings. What is the string? We will understand in strings. What is a string? How to use a string? I'll share in the chat box itself, so you can download that. Okay. Also, it will be available from tonight. It will be available in the Google Classroom also. But after the session, I'll share in the chat box. Now, we'll understand these things. What is a string? How do we use strings to make data for ourselves? What are the different ways to create those strings? How do we do some processes on the string? And what are some methods available in strings? The methods that are available are length, count, upper, lower. These multiple methods are available. What they will do is they will modify the string for us. Correct? Okay. Let's see one by one what is a string from here. If anyone gets any issue with the sound, just let me know. Okay. I'll try to do some. Now, we'll start understanding this. What is a string? First thing we need to understand. String is a data like this, a text value. Whenever you make a text value like this, Python or any word you write, not just a single word, you can write a statement, you can write multiple line statement, that will be called a string. So string is nothing but a sequence of characters. When you put together sequence of characters combined together, you get a string. Now, you might know that in all the things you see that these things are present in all the applications and all the websites that you use. These are very common type of data that you might see. So it's nothing but it's a sequence of characters. If you write M also, it's a text. But these texts are written inside these codes. Inside the quotes, whatever you write, the text or a number, that will be considered as a string. Now, if you write 10, this is what? This is a number. It's an integer value. But when you put this integer value in quotes, it becomes a string. So any data, when you put that inside the quotes in Python, they behave like a string. They behave like a text. So that is the basics of string. The next characteristic of the string is that these are immutable. It's a process of the string, immutable. Now, what is the property of immutable? That once you create the string, you won't be able to modify that string. You might delete the whole string, but if you try to, let's see, you go to this text and you say that instead of Python, I want to change this key to some other character. You won't be able to modify a text once you have created that. I can delete the whole text. If I want, I can delete the whole text, but inside something I can't change. But later there will be some data in which I would be able to go inside and I would be able to modify those. But string is having a property of immutability. You can note it down that it's immutable, and immutable data can't be changed once it is created. There are advantages of it. There are disadvantages of it. We'll talk about those things one by one. Now, whenever we are making such a data, we know that our systems don't understand a text data like this. Our systems only understand 101011, these kind of things. Our systems understand the binary digits. So when our system has to store such a text data, it's not specific just to Python. It happens in other programming languages also. That when you try to store such a data, in that case, this data is first converted into numbers and then stored in the memory. And that process is called encoding process. The conversion of characters to numbers or the binary digit is called encoding process. Now, when we want to see an output like this, whatever we have stored in our system, we want to see for ourselves. We won't be able to understand these binary digits. Many people won't be able to do. So if you know computer knowledge, then you might be able to understand what is written here. But for the people who are general, who don't know computer science knowledge, they won't be able to understand what is this. So it will be converted back to a text which us humans can understand and then shown to us. And that process is called decoding. So there are two processes happen once this data has to be stored. First, the conversion of character to number, that is encoding, and conversion of numbers back to a normal data, that is decoding. These two things happen. So then we will be able to see that what is that data. This was the basics of strings. Now we'll start to understand how these strings are created. Correct? Now, in this case, what will happen is you create a string like this. 1 minute. First name. This data that we created previously, it was nothing but a string. So strings are like arrays. What is an array? Array is a data which have multiple values together. So when you put multiple characters together in an array, you can say they behave like a string. So this is how a string is created. This is the very basic idea of the string. Now, in this case, once you have created a string or once you have created anything, any statement you have created, you will be able to access whatever is inside that. You can't change that, but you can access something from inside. And we'll talk about that process very properly. So first, let us understand the ways to create a string. The first way to create a string is that if I write a name and I write it here, this is the way I create a string. I write a text inside these double quotes. Next thing is I can say another variable and I can put something in single quotes also. That is also allowed. Either use a pair of double quotes or you use a pair of single quotes. Both of them is allowed. You whatever you want to use, that you can use. Inside here, if you want to write, Python is a programming language. You can have this also. This is also called a string. So these are two things, two ways. One, you can use a big statement or multiple words you can use. You don't have to use just one word. Also, you would be able to access this word from inside of this string. We will be able to access that. How to access those things and what do we mean by access? I'll show that to you just few minutes. So these are two basic ways. The third way is if you want to create multiple line text. What I do, if I just do it like this, then it will give me error. It's a syntax error. It won't allow you to make a multiple line text using this single quotes and double quotes. Now, if you want to write paragraph that consists of 20 lines of code or a very big paragraph, 30 lines, 50 lines of some text you want to write, what you do in that case? So for that purpose, you use this. If I write, if I say multi is equal to, for writing multiple line statements or multiple line string, you need to use this triple quotes, this triple pair of quotes. Either you can use triple pair of double quotes or triple pair of single quotes. So as you can see, 3 double quotes are on that side, 3 on the right side, and you write something in the middle. And we can say this is a multiple line statement. Correct? Now, if you see, if I bring it to another line, it is now converted into black color. It is not identified as a text. Here it was working fine. But if I have to write something in multiple lines, 20, 30, whatever number of lines you want, you can put that here like this. And when you run this, this is the data for you. These are the 3 basic ways how you create a string, how you create a text. Other things that you can do is you can do these things also. That I say Python into 10. What will happen? This word will be repeated multiple times, the 10 times that word you have written. So if anytime you want to create a data as such, you can do these things also. That is the basic ways to create the string. Now, let's go through a process which is very interesting and very important process in whole of the Python. That is called indexing and slicing process. With indexing and slicing, what we basically do is, I think you should be clear about this. If anyone has any doubt about anything, just let me know. If you can write this thing faster, you can write the code along with me. If you can't write faster, you can note it down in your notebooks if you want to. But at the end of the session, I'll obviously share this with you. But any doubt is there? Ask me, please. Okay. Now, the next concept in string is that try to properly understand this. If you understand all the things that I'm going to discuss, you won't need to see any other tutorials for Python. I'll discuss basically all the important things which are there. Now, the string slicing and string indexing concept, what does happen in this? So for understanding this, we need to understand this scenario. There are some index numbers in Python that we need to see. So what happens is, let's say I create a text, and that text is this Python program. Now, when you make a text, a bigger statement, and from that statement, you want to access particular words, few words you want to access, and you want to just see what are those words. So how do you access those words? For that purpose, we have the indexing concept, and indexing concept talks about the location that is given to each of these characters. So P has a particular location, Y has a particular location, T, H, O, N, all of them have a location. What are these locations? So if I have created this text Python and I want to access this N, so what will happen is I need to know its location in this text. In this whole text, in this whole string, I need to know its location. How will I know its location? The concept of indexing says that they are given a number, and using that number you can access the elements. Now from this text, if I just want to access this N character, just this one character, you can access multiple of them, but first one character. So you have these numbers that is assigned to them. So the first character is assigned the value 0, and it is called the index location of a particular character. Then you have Y, you have T, H, O, N. Even the space which is there, that also has a location. You will be able to access that space also. That is also treated as a character. So now there are two ways. The first is if you have this Python TH, it's a text. What will happen? To access P, you need to use this location 0. To access Y, you need to use location 1, location 2, location 3, location 4, location 5. These are called positive index numbers to access the data. Then there is a negative index number also to access this data. Either you can use this positive index location to access any of the characters, or the second thing is you can use the negative index number. So in negative index number, what will happen? It will start with -1 from the backward. Why with -1? Why not with 0? Because from backward, we give it negative numbers. So negative 0 is not a valid number in mathematics. So that is why it starts from -1. And it will go till -6. Now, how do you access a particular character? Let's see, you just want to access this T. What will you write now? You can say that this Python is written inside this variable. It's a variable text in which your Python word is there. What you need to write now is you will write first text, and you will make a square bracket. A small square bracket you will make, and inside you will write the location, that is 2. Either you can use this positive location or you can use this negative location. Any one of that, both you will not use together. Any one of them. So if I write text 2, what it will give, it will just give me a character T, just selecting that. It will show to me that when you go into this data text and you go to index number 2, you will be able to fetch this character. Likewise, we wanted to take n. N is where? N is at the location number 5, or any other location will be there, but for now, just C5. Let's see. So let's talk about this thing. We wanted to take Python. So if I want to just access n, I will write the text and I'll write the square brackets, and inside I'll write 2. Sorry. If I write 0, it will give me p, just one character p. If I want to take n, I have location number 5 that you can see here also. It's location number 5. If I want to get this m, either I can use this 13. M is the 13 character starting from 0. It's actually 14, but when you start the counting from 0, it's the 13 character. So either I can write 13, or if I want to, 1 minute, Python. Okay. Yeah. So we have this text 13. Now, in this case, what you see now is, if I try to count their index location from the start, then what is happening? It is at the end. The m is at the end. I need to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these numbers I need to count. So what I can see that m is very closer from the backward side. So if it is closer to the backward, I can use the negative index number, since if I start counting the location from backward, it will be the first character. So in such a case, it will be better if I start counting from the backward. So whenever you want to start counting from the backward, you use the index number in negatives. So -1, this will give us n. Now, this is how indexing works. Now, if you want to access 2 characters, you can write text2, comma. It will show you something like this. That text2, whatever was there at location 2, what was there at location 5, both are selected. If you want to add them together, then you can say text2 plus text5 plus text7. If you do this, what will happen? The T, N, and P, they will be combined together, and it will make a separate text for you. So this is what you can do, and this is all happening with a property that is called indexing property of the string. Now, till now, I have just told you that how can you access a particular one character at a time. I have accessed one character 3 times, and I combine the values together. Is there a way to access multiple values together? Let's see about that. So in that case, we use a concept of slicing. When you access one particular character or one particular data, it's called indexing. And when you access multiple values together, that is called slicing. Slicing means cutting out a part of the whole data. Let's understand how this slicing works. Now, from this text, I don't want to access P. I want to access complete program. This whole word I want to access. And it's a part of the text. What we need to do now in slicing is, we are talking about slicing. And in this case, we have text and we have this. What we need to see is, we won't give one number, we'll be giving a range of numbers. How to give a range of numbers? First, we need to identify our locations. What locations? If I want to access the program, this complete word, I need to see where it is starting. What is the starting index location of that text, the first text, where it is ending. So from 7 to 13, I need to go. So should I write 7, 8, 9, 9? No, not like that. It will be easier than that. 7 to 13, we need to go. How do we write that? A bunch of addresses, a bunch of index locations. So I'll write 7 That's at 7 we have to start, and we'll write that we need to stop at 14. So if you want to go from 7 to 13, you just increase the end value. You increase the end value by 1. So if you want to stop at 13, you write 14. If you want to write stop at 20, you write just 21, just one value extra. But the starting value will be same, just the end value which is there, that you need to just increase by 1. And when you write such a thing, what will happen? It will go from location 7 to 13 automatically, continuously, and it will select all that elements and put that together for you. Now in the text, we had Python program, and I just accessed a part of that text by using a process which is called slicing. So what we do here in this case, for using a slicing, I write the data name in the name here. The text was the name of the variable. So I write the data name. This is the format of slicing. Then I write here the starting index value. I write the stop index value, where we need to stop. And then there is a step. There is the third value also that I'll show you. It's a step. So what do we mean by step? Let's see the third value. So when you write 7, 14, it will do that task of going from 7 to 13, one place before the stop value. Let us bring in now third number. So it is now third number is 7 to 14. And I say now that 2, the last value after a colon is 2 now. What does this third value means? It means the step. How many steps you want to take from 7 to reach to the next number, to reach to the next character. So earlier we were taking 1 steps. From 7 I was going to 8, from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 13. But now we'll be jumping 2 steps. From 7 I'll be going to 9, skipping the 8. From 9 to 11, and 11 to 13. Now let me run this, and you will notice what has happened. You have this P, then O, then R, then M, skipping the words in the between. If I write now 3, so we'll be jumping 3 steps. From 7, I jump 3 locations and I go to 10. From 10, I jump 3 locations, reach 13. So these are the jump steps. If you want to get a data in that alternate characters you want to take, for that purpose, you can use these numbers. The first value is start value, then you have stop, and then you have step. This is the concept of slicing. And this concept that I'm telling you, this slicing and indexing, it will be used from here on till the whole data science, machine learning, whatever things are there, data analysis, machine learning, data science, playing with the real data with Python, playing with the databases with Python. This concept is going to be used in multiple places in the future advanced topics. Here we have taken a very small data, a very small text format we have taken, but later this data will become bigger and bigger, and then you will be able to appreciate what it is actually able to do. So this was the concept of indexing and slicing. What we have discussed now, I have told you how you can do slicing with the positive numbers. If you want to do the slicing with the negative numbers, how will it look like? Let's see. Now I want to take P to M using the negative numbers. Can anyone make a guess what would it be? Just for a guess, I have written 3 numbers, 7 to 14 to 3. Now I want to give the negative index location. What should we write in that case? Any just guesses? Now, first you need to check the starting position. What is the starting position? Where are we starting? So we are starting at P. So P is where we need to start from -7. So in the case of the positive one, we were starting from 7 and going till 13. Now in this case, we need to start from -7 and we need to go till -1, correct? So what we will write now is this. We'll write text and we will write -7 to Nothing. Now, what does this nothing means? I have, after a colon, I have not written anything. What does this mean? So what does this mean actually is, if you try, see, 0 will not work. Now, why it is not working? What you can do in that case? Let me explain what I have just run. If you want to go from 7 to 13, let's talk about what is this empty value. So once you understand the indexing concept here, this will be used in multiple locations later, and you won't need to go through this concept again if you understand this here. Now, what we need to do is, we started from 7, we went till 13. Now, what is 13? 13 is the end of this data, is the last value. There is no other character, there is no more data after 13. It's the last value. So if I want to select 7 to 13, what I can write in that case is, instead of writing 7 to 14, 14 is just one value after that. But since this 13 is the end of my data, what I can do is I can skip this value. I can just write 7 colon. 7 is the start value and end value I'm not giving. Yeah, I'm explaining. So see, yeah, I'll explain that also. See, first understand text 7 to this. What does this mean? So this means we are starting from 7, but I have not given a stop value. I'm not told Python to stop anywhere. So what will happen? It will keep going, keep going, keep going. And once it has reached the end of the data, after this M, there is no more data. So automatically it will stop here. Once it has accessed program by going from 7 to all the further locations, whatever number of characters are there till the end, it will keep going there. What I wanted to go till the end of the data, so I can leave it empty. Okay, I don't need to specify the stop condition here. Now, let's talk about if I want to get this word Python. What should we write in that case for getting the Python text? Just a very quick answer. If I just want to access Python from P to N, using the positive index numbers from P to N, using the first positive numbers from 0 to 5. No, you're making a mistake. From 0 to 6, Shrikant, correct. So you need to write 0 to 6. We are going till 5, so I need to give the last location plus 1. So take 0 to 6. Now, in this case, what is happening? I am starting from the very start of the data. You can see the P was the very start of the data. It's the first character of this data. So now I can, what I can do in this case, I can skip this. I can leave it empty. I just put a colon and I mention the stop condition. So when your end condition is the end of the data, you can leave the end value. You can omit the end value. And when you are accessing a data where you are starting from the very start of the data, you can omit that start value. Don't need to write 0. You can write just empty colon. You have to mention the stop value. If you don't mention either start or the end, what will happen? If I just write this colon inside, what will happen in this case now? No. So what you write is, when you write 0 to 6, it will go from 0 to 5 only. It will not go till go to the location 6. When you write 0 to 5, it will go from 0 to 5 only. When we have to go from 7 to 13, we mention 7 to 14. So by writing 14, it does not mean it go to 14. It will go from till 13 only. Whatever is the stop value, it will stop one place before that. Okay, right. What will happen in this case? Anyone? If I leave both the values empty, I don't mention the start, I don't mention the end. One answer I got. Anyone? Just make a guess, so it will be little interactive. If you just keep seeing and seeing, you will get bored. Error, whole data will be printed. No, right. So error won't be there. It will print everything from the start to the end. Exactly. Start to the end, everything will be printed. From the character P to the character M, everything is printed. What I've told you here in this case, we were removing the stop value. If I remove the stop value, it will automatically go till the end of the data. If I remove the start value, it will automatically start from the very start of the data. Now, in this case, if I'm missing the start value also and end value also, what Python will assume that you want to start from the very start, and it will assume that you have to keep going till the end of the data automatically. So it will start from location 0 and go till location 13. Whatever a number of locations are there, it will start from the very start, keep going till the very end of the data. You will understand all the things one by one. I'll keep showing that. We'll be using that for our assignments and practicals, so you will get a proper idea. But for now, just understand what these things are doing for us. So that is why what I mentioned here by negative indexing, if I want to get program. So I said that start from -7 and leave the stop value empty. So it will keep going in this direction. Correct? Now, let me show you this. If I leave everything empty, what will happen? If I just leave this empty, it will just select all the data. That is the colon for you. I'll talk about it where you want to do this thing. I just told you that let's say you have 100 statements or 100 lines of statement, and you want to select a particular 1 or 2 lines of statement from that 100 lines. 1 or 2 lines you want to select and you want to save it somewhere. What I can do now here is this. What I did, our data was a text. Just assume that this text is a very big data. It is having lots of values. Now, in this case, I want to take a slice of that and put that into another variable. So what I will do now, I will say text is equal to this, and I will say new word. So just now what I have done, I have created a variable in which I have put up something that I selected from this text data. And when I check my new word is a variable that I created by slicing something out from that new word. Now, it is not going to happen that this word will be removed from here. This program will be there in text variable, but just this program word we have selected and we said that put that into a new variable. So we just kind of created a new data with the previous data. That is the small purpose, and you will see more of this purpose later and you will get the proper idea. Correct? So if you say this complete, this colon, it will be basically selecting the complete data. Now there is this one last thing in left in indexing and slicing. That last thing is, see, if I say now, I want to get this program in reversed order. So what we were saying, if I want to get this program, I say -7 to this. So I get the program. Now I want that this program word is there. I want to reverse that. My word should start from M, then A, R, G, O, R, and P. This is what it should show in the reversed order. So if you want to go in reverse order, what you need to write is, understand this. So you will write text and you mention that my first word is starting at -1. I want to go in negative direction. I need to go in reverse direction. So I will say we start from M and we go till where? We go till -8. So now in this case, earlier we were going in this direction. If I use the positive indexing, negative indexing, we were going this direction. Now we want to go in this direction, reverse direction. What we do in that case? In the reverse direction, your first starting value is this. Starting location is -1. What is your end value? -7. So -7, I increase the value. I take it -8. Like 7 to 14, I was showing. So from -1 to -7, you want to go. So you write -1 to -. But if I run this, what will happen? Will it give me output or not? Just for a guess, should give us the output or not, or should do we need to do some modification? Any guess? I'll tell you that. So let's see. Anyways, I've not explained. What is happening? It is showing us an empty text. Empty text means it does not select any of the characters. So what happens in this case is when you write something, when you write here text 7 to 14, when you write, and let's say I don't write the third value, the third step value is there, I don't mention that. Then also, if I don't mention that, then by default, what happens is that that step value is there. You don't get to see that, but it's written in such a way that that default value will be 1. The default step value will be 1. So with this default value 1, what is happening? When you mention that your start value is -1 and your stop value is -8, what it is going? From -1, it is going to 0, because -1 and this jump step +1, it will go to location number 0. So 0 will now fall in this direction. Is there a something in this direction? No. I need to go in this direction. So can anyone tell what should we do now? What should we do a modification here? I need to go in this reverse direction. And by default, the step value is 1. I need to change something in this step value to go in the reverse direction. Are you understanding? What I'm trying to say is that when we wanted to select the P2M, what was happening? Our jump step was by default 1. So what was happening? From 7, I added 1. So location 8. From 8, we added 1, location 9. So we were just adding one index value to reach to our forward data. That is what happens by default. If I want to go in negative direction, I'll just do -1. Correct? I'll just say the jump step should not be in forward direction. It should be in backward direction. So you can see here for backward, what we are using? We are using minus, negative something to go in negative this backward direction, from backward to forward. So what I need to mention here is that our jump step should be -1. So whenever jump step we mention -1, then what will happen? It will start first from the -1. That is our first, the start of the data, M. Then I say -1, -1, it will be -2. So second data that will be selected will be -2. Then -2, -1, the next data will be selected at location number -. Then -3, -1, it will be selected at -4. That way it will keep going till -1 to -7. And then when it reaches -8, it will stop automatically. So now you notice what is happening. Our first character is M, then A, R, G, O, R, and P. These are our characters we have selected. Now, is this clear to all of you? Have you understood what was this -1? What specific thing you did not understand? This is clear to you, -1 to -8? Or when we do proper indexing, have you understood that? The -1 you have not understood, correct? Ronak? What I mean by -1? So let me say, see, if you want to select the program in positive direction, what happens? Whenever you do slicing, it goes in the positive direction. Why does it go in positive direction? Because I told you, when you write the data and you write some numbers here, what you write? Where you want to start. You want to start at 7 and you want to go till 13. So you write 7 to 14. And I just don't write the third value. Even if I don't write the third value, what happens by default is the third value is always 1 by default. If I change it to 2, then it will work as 2. What 2 means? That don't go from 7 to 8. Don't go. Go from 7 to 9. This is what the jump step 2 means. And that is the value. Now, what I want to do is, I don't want to go from 7 to 8. I don't want to go in forward direction. I want to go in backward direction from 7 to 6. So if I want to go from 7 to 6, what should I say now? First is my stop value should be somewhere in this negative direction. If my stop value is in this direction and if I try to go backwards, nothing will be selected. So first is I take a place and I say my stop value should be 0. So how do you go from 7 to 0? You need to go in reverse direction, correct? And how do you go in reverse direction? By mentioning the jump step as -1. So what will happen? The start index value is 7. And when you say 7 minus 1, it will go to 6. 6 minus 1, it will go to 5. 5 minus 1, you are jumping -1 steps. So -1 step is 1 step in the backward direction. And that is how we reverse the data. We started from -1 and we said jump -1 steps. -1 step is where? In this direction. When you say jump 1 step, it will go in right direction. Now clear? This is what it means. I said that my data is starting from -1 and it is ending till -7. So I need to go from -1 to -8 and I need to go in reverse direction. So my jump step should be -1. That is what we meant here. If any other doubt is there for anyone, just let me know, because this is a very important concept. It will be in all the data that we will see in the future sessions. So this was the whole concept of indexing and slicing. We'll see more examples when we do our assignments and all the things, and other data when we talk about. But this is the whole concept of indexing and slicing. So I'll give this to you. What you need to do now, for a practice purpose, create a bigger statement and try to just select not just one word. So if you have like Python is a programming language. So now try to select from this P to E. From this P to E, just try to select that data. So, play with by making a bigger data, bigger statement, play with that. Play with negative indexing, positive indexing, the jump steps, and you will get a proper idea about what is happening. Now, the next concept in Python is that how do you do reverse string reversing? Yeah, you can do the slicing. Slicing is, there are two things I discussed now. The first concept was indexing. Indexing talks about selecting one character at a time. And when you do slicing, what you can do with slicing, in slicing, you can select multiple values at a time, multiple characters at a time. 1 minute. Can we do string length to identify the total index? We can do that also. I'll just tell you in 2 minutes. Okay. This was just a basic introduction I have given about indexing. There are lots of things we can know about a proper string. Now, let's say you have 100 words. If you say, I have a very big statement, I have 100 lines of statement. So do we have to count the characters? Will it be possible? No. Let's say you have written an article of 500 words and somewhere in the middle, there is 200th word. Will you be counting its that index value? No. One by one, you won't be counting that. There is a tool that will help us find out the starting index value for any particular word. Once you know the starting value of any particular word, then you can do the indexing and slicing. So first, you can search for that index. I'll tell you what is that tool for us. Correct? Now, there is string reversing. How can you do string reversing? A very easy method to do string reversing is this. You write text and you write this empty and you write this colon and -1. What it is going to do? Just remember, you can remember this as of now, that first is what I write now. When I write text and I write this colon, what does this do? It just selects all the data. How it selects all the data? It starts from location number 0 and it is going till 14 in our text that we have taken. So it was going from very start till the very end of the data. That is what this means. Basically, from going to the very start to the very end. Now, what happens in this case? If I just write this, then there is a third value working, and that value is 1. Even if I don't mention that, it is there. So what it will do, it will start from 0 and it will go in 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4, go in the forward direction. But if you want to start from the -1 and you want to go till the start, from backward to forward, What you do, you just change this -1 to this +1 to -1. So what will happen? Your data will start from -1. The first location will be -1, which is the end of the data. So starting from the end, it will go to the start of the data, and that will reverse the whole string. You try that and you will understand what is it. This is string reverse. Now, let us talk about some operations that we can perform on the strings. This is also very important. Let's see. Now, the operation here is, let me talk about it. If I say Python is a text, Python, and I say program, I can do this, and what it will do, it will add them together. This is a process called concatenation of the strings. So like this, I can do this. I can have multiple text value just with a plus. I can add them together. Adding means just putting them together, concatenating process. So it's very easy in Python to add the multiple strings together and do something like this. Now, what will happen if you have done something like this? You can say text is equal to this. What will happen? Now the text will be this. Correct? So Python plus program plus language, it has created that. And also the next thing what you can do is you can say word1 is equal to Python, and then you can say word2 is equal to program. This is a better approach by making multiple variables of that if you want to store the data for a little longer time. What you can do now, I can say the new word is equal to word1 plus word2 plus word3. Okay, and now when we check what is our data in the new word variable, this is the data. Sorry, new word. See, so either you can follow this approach or you can make multiple text values like this, and you can say word1 plus word2 plus word3, all the variables. This will give us this data. And the last thing that you can try is you can say this word is equal to, I have already told you about this, Python into 5. These are some mathematical operations you can perform on a string. And this will help you create the string very easily. You can take multiple statements you have and you can add them those multiple statements to create a bigger paragraph. That is where this string concept will be used. This operation. Correct? So let's say you have some one statement, two statement, three statement. You can combine that together to make a bigger text. That is where it is going to be used. And you can save that in a new variable. So you have a bigger data now by combining three smaller text. The next concept is to check the string membership. Now you have a very big text and you want to check whether there is a word which is present in that text or not. In this case, you can take an article from somewhere that has 1,000 words, 2,000 words, no matter what is the size of that. You want to search whether a particular word is there in that whole article or not. Want to search for that word. So for that purpose, you have this string membership. You have this string membership. So I need to search, like our text was this. This is our text that we knew, a new text we have created. So what I want to search is program in text. Is this word program present in text or not? What it will say, true, because program is present. But now if I say small p, it will tell me false. So it means that the capital letters and small letters are different things. They are considered to be separate, different type of data in Python. So whenever something you are selecting, something you are writing, be sure about their cases. Is it lowercase? It is uppercase. You need to see it properly. So program in text, it will tell you true. It is present. Correct? So this was about our string membership. And if you want to check something, the other way is that Java, in my text, Java is not there. So I can say Java not in text. Just this not in is the opposite of in. What it will say? True. True means the Java is not present. This Java word is not present in this text. But I say here Python program not in text, it will say false, which means that if it says false for not in text, it means that it is present. Correct? This is checking the membership. This is how you can check whether some text or not just one word. You can search for program language. You need to write as it is program language. It will tell you that program language completely is present. You need to search something like that. You can search for something like that also. This is the string membership. Now, there are some interesting concepts that will help us identify some of the characteristics, some information about the string. So if you give me 5-10 minutes, I'll tell you a few more things so that you will be having a proper idea. Is it okay for 5-10 minutes? Okay, so just 5-10 minutes, right? Now, those who have, okay, I think you have that, right? Now, there are some methods or built-in functions. What are these methods and built-in function do? These methods and built-in function actually help us find some information about the text we have created. What are they going to do? These are the names. There is length, there is upper, lower, capitalized, like this, multiple things are there. Let's see what they do for us. We'll talk about them one by one. So first, if you want to find out how many characters are there in a particular text. So if you talk about this Python program, how many characters are there? From 0 to 13 means 14 characters are there in this particular text. Likewise, you can take any of the text, any bigger statement, and you can find out how many characters are there. So if you talk about characters, the spaces, the comma, the dots, all of them will be considered as a characters. All of them. So now when I write here the length and text. What is my text here? My text was Python program language. That was our text we created. This was the one. So when we say length, it will tell us that there are total 21 characters in here, starting from location 0, and the E is that location number 20. From 0 to 20, total 21 text values are there. That is the length, small, simple thing. The next one is called upper. So the upper, lower, capitalize these things, what they will do, they will help you modify the text. So in this case, understand what is happening. See our text dot upper. So when you say text dot upper, you can see here there are some small case characters, some are uppercase characters. So what it will do, it will take all the characters in that text and it will convert all of them into uppercase. That is the work of dot upper. Now, what happens in this case? After I have done text dot upper, and when I check my text again, it is showing that it is as it is, nothing has happened, but I did this operation, it should have done this. Now, what happens in this Python string is that I told you that it has a property of immutability. Remember this, and it's a very important topic of interviews. People will ask, the interviewers will ask, which data types in Python are immutable? Like string, we'll study about more of the data type, and some of them are also immutable. They can't be changed. So the text that we have created, it has some data. It is created. It has some text, whatever is written inside. It can't be changed now. I can delete this whole text from the memory. That is a separate process, but I can't go inside and I can't replace something, or I can't change something. I can access the values, but changing is not possible. That is the property of immutable. So what is happening now when I say text dot upper? It is showing a temporary result that what will happen when you try to do text.up. It's a temporary result. Correct? Now, if you want that this should be done on my original data, so what can you do now? You will say text is equal to text.upper. Okay. If you want that this operation text.upper should be applied on the original data, should change my original data. So you say text is equal to text.upper. What does this mean? This text.upper has this output. It gives us this output. So you're saying that whatever output this text.upper says, save that into this variable. So it is like saying when I say text is equal to Python, and in the next line, if I say text is equal to program. So we have discussed about this, the concept of variables and what happens in variable. If you say text is equal to Python, and if you assign a new value to the same variable, it will now have this newer data. The previous one will be deleted. Same thing you're doing here. You're saying that text has some value, but you are assigning a new data by not writing that word, but you are doing some operation, and whatever is the result of that operation, you are saving back into the variable text. So what will happen? The previous thing which was there, the previous data which was there, it is now replaced with this newer one. That is what you do if you want to change the original data. Correct? This is the concept. This is the concept, right? Now, if I have to just explain it in little bit more easy manner, you can think of like this, that when you say text is equal to Python, just this last example, that text is equal to Python. 1 minute. And now you say text is equal to text.upper. What will happen? It will just make everything uppercase and it will now give the value of text. So see, so now what is happening? It is Python. This new data will be created somewhere, which is text.upper. And now earlier, the text variable was having the address of this box. Now it will be cut off and now it will have the address of this box. You can think of it like this. So now the value of this text is modified, this variable. This is the concept of, and this you should understand because it is very important for further concepts also, that when you make a string, you can't change it by doing any operation. If you want to change it, you need to do text is equal to text.upper. Then your text will be changed. Now when I check, my data has been changed. Okay. So this was one concept. Likewise, you can check the text.lower. If you say text.lower, it will just complete everything into lowercase. So we have Python programming language, everything in lowercase. But again, if I check my text variable, it will have the all capital one that we have just created. If I want to do this in the original data, I say text is equal to text.lower. Now everything is lower. Okay. So this was something, and there are few more things in string that we will discuss tomorrow.